What is up, guys? Welcome to the 2024.
Start mine now. Just start recording.
Yeah, you want to just like do it normally? Sorry, I
Oh,
forget.
this is fine. This is
No,
fine.
no, no, no.
Keep it going.
It's okay.
Keep
Fine,
it going.
fine. Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Start yours.
I'm on.
Yeah, welcome to
Hello,
the
everybody.
2024-2025 season. NFL predictions. We're doing them on Playoff Predictors again right here.
AKA my yearly upload.
Yeah, this is Brian's yearly or bi-yearly because he does also do the other playoffs sometimes as well.
It's just called NFL channel. Not even a.
What?
It's just called my NFL channel because that's all
Yeah,
I do now.
yeah. You know, just football. Yeah, exactly. Like you did one of your last like game videos was also NFL related
Yep.
too. Anyway, all right. Well, let's see else what we got here. So yeah, we've been doing a bit of research here on the depth chart prior to this, just because so I could get familiar. Because I tend to switch off my brain from football when I haven't done it for a while. So yeah, we're doing the NFL here and we're doing the predictions here, and yeah, I'm excited to get going. This is the standings from last year, by playoff seed and everything, um, and so we're using this and also just seeing where the teams are player wise, so just kind of get a rough estimate. I'm gonna try not to like. Last year, my problem with my predictions was I always had to balance out the divisional games. If one team won next week, they had to win. The other team had to win the next time. It was like one team wins one matchup, the other team wins the other always. So it was always like 3 versus 3 or 3-3, which doesn't look very good. Which isn't really realistic at all to like how the season actually turns out. So I'm going to
I
try to
like that
avoid that
too.
this time, especially with teams like that are just known to probably going to be pretty bad this year, no matter what. Um, so yeah, we want to get started now.
Yep.
We're feeling confident. All right. So first game we're going to do is going to be it's actually the first game of the year. Actually, it's going to be the Chiefs versus the Ravens.
Chiefs are at home.
Chiefs are home. You know, I think we've figured out that the Chiefs tend to have a pretty. I've had a bit of a rough time recently with the regular season, so I'm just gonna say I'm gonna say that they need a bit of a kick in their pants to start off things. We'll do Ravens.
I'm going with the Ravens too.
Because
I think that the Ravens. I'm not saying like Patrick Mahomes, like Lamar Jackson's a great quarterback, but Patrick Mahomes is the standard. But I do think that the Ravens have a little more talent on their roster. I think the Chiefs' wide receiver room is still really young. They need a little bit more development there. That will come throughout the season. And they won the Super Bowl last year, so it's not like at all that they're bad or anything at all. They're still probably going to go.
they always just have a moment where they
very
struggle
deep
at the
playoffs.
beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think next game will be Bengals. Pretty
Yeah.
easy there.
I mean, Joe Burrow coming off the injury, but
No, but he'll be okay.
he'll be
I'm sure he can beat the Patriots. Even with I know there's like been a bit of a talk about Drake May recently, so that might change things. What's the next one? Dolphins versus Jaguars. How did the Jaguars do?
they went.
Oh yeah, they actually were not horrible. They were about mediocre, but I do think the Dolphins will probably win this one still.
I think the Dolphins, like last year, for like the first like 8-10 weeks, they were like one of the best teams. Like they were like really good for a while. Remember when they beat Denver 7?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Yeah, but again, we know that they tend to like falter in the playoffs, like some of our teams do, right? I'm gonna say that the Texans are gonna really start showing their supremacy over the Colts here, so we'll do a win for them, as we've seen a lot of good things near the end of last year, and also there's been more moves off season that have kind of bolstered that up. So I do think it'll be Texans
I
there.
think I'm actually going to go with the Colts just because it's week one and the Colts didn't have Anthony Richardson at all. They had him for like 2 games and he got injured. I have a feeling that they're going to win this first one just because it's week one. Like every team is just figuring stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what I think.
So this one, Raiders versus Chargers. I'm not sure about this one too much. Who is the coach for the Raiders again?
Antonio Pierce, I think. He
Okay,
was
well,
last year. They hired him.
I'll say Chargers.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
Even though there might be growing pains with the new team, there's not really a lot of star power on the Raiders right now. There is like Devontae Adams.
They lost their only besides Devontae Adams, and they have like Max Crosby, who's really good. But like besides that, like they lost Josh Jacobs. They didn't really get a good running back
Yeah.
to replace him. So yeah.
All right. Now we're going to AFC versus NFC matchups. I would say that It'll probably be pretty obvious. It's probably be the Titans here.
I'm gonna go with the Bears. I think
the growing pains will probably be worse for the Bears than it is for the Chargers.
Since they have a good Week 1 matchup versus Tennessee at home. Tennessee's not a great team. Chicago, I think that if they start the game out hot, they can ride it out. So I'm gonna go with Chicago for Week 1, even though I'm a Packers fan, hate the Bears, but I'll give credit where credit's due.
I'm just checking the Steelers here before we go to this next matchup here. We got Steelers versus Falcons. I don't think the Falcons are particularly notable this year.
They have Kirk Cousins,
but they do have Kirk Cousins, who might add some more punch. I don't know. This is kind of this is a bit of a game of just kind of like mid teams. I'm gonna be honest.
Keep in mind, the Falcons last year went 7-10, but they had Desmond Ridder as their quarterback, who, as we learned, was not the option, and they were playing in not a great division, so they might be able to win the division. But I think for this matchup, I'm going to go with the Steelers because the Steelers have a really good defense.
These teams are just kind of again, I don't have much to say about them. I'm just going to pick the home team on this one. I'll just say Falcons because I don't know. The Steelers and the Falcons are just kind of nothing really jumps out at me about them. This next one, obvious Bills, I would say.
Marvin Harrison Jr., the rookie for the Cardinals, wide receiver. Obviously, he's probably going to be very good, but I don't think he's good enough to...
And apart from, again, Kyler Murray, he's been having problems, and there's not a lot of other notable pieces on the Cardinals that I'm seeing. So, I still think I'd say, for this first game, probably Bills.
I'm just curious about this, so I want to see what the Bills wide receiver room is like, because...
Yeah, let's have a look.
They have Curtis Samuel, they have a lot of young talent, Keon Coleman, rookie. But I think Josh Allen's a good enough quarterback where it won't matter too much. He can use his legs if he needs to. He's very good.
Yeah, even though losing we're definitely missing Tre'Davious White a little bit there too. Still, got the Broncos. Who do they got this year? Actually, let me just check them again.
The Broncos are.
Yeah, well, they got Bo Nix, but apart from that, it's pretty. Again, that's like a new pick, right?
Yeah,
so
Bo Nix is going to be
pretty growing pains there. I'm going to say Seahawks. Even with the Seahawks, like kind of. Very much like last year did feel like a bit of a fluke with Geno Smith there, but I still think that they at least will have some familiarity going in.
Yeah.
Which the Broncos just do not at this point.
No.
And Browns, where have the Browns been?
The Browns were.
Oh yeah, they were good last year. I still will say Cowboys though.
I'm just curious. I guess they're probably gonna have Deshaun Watson starting, eh? I'm not really sure. I feel like whenever he's been primed to be the starting quarterback for the Browns, something has came in the way. He's only played a few games. I know Joe Flacco
was there for a little bit and kind of and I had an insane run no one was expecting there.
But honestly, they're at home. This is going to be a closer game, I think, than people think. I'm leaning the Cowboys though.
Me too.
But if Nick Chubb can come back, one of the best running backs in the league.
And of course they're saving the Rodgers comeback game, second try, I might add, for Monday, the Monday Night Football.
This is the worst defense if you're coming off an injury as a quarterback you can play against.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say just because the Jets again they really didn't get used to Rodgers at all last year because he was out in 4 plays, which again hoping that doesn't happen this year because I was really interested last year to see how that went and it was sad. That kind of just we didn't really see anything. So I think I will still say 49ers for this first week.
I'm interested, though, but I think the 49ers are just too good.
Yes, exactly.
Even for the Jets, this game could go either way. Who knows? If the 49ers, Brandon Ayuk leaves, who knows? Maybe it could be a little more even, but I still think Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy.
All right, next game, we're at the NFC now. I'm going to say, again, because I think the Eagles have had a little more time together, I'll say... I'll say Eagles. Again, I think the Packers are going to be the team that gets better as the season goes along, for sure.
I do want to note that, for me, these are both very good teams. The Eagles are established as a good team. They had a bad end last year, but you could blame that on Matt Patricia. Could blame that on the players just forgetting how to catch and tackle.
I'm leaning more towards the former option, Ryan. Yeah.
But this game is in Brazil. And also, when a game is in a foreign country... all bets can be off the table. Especially when it's a place like Brazil where it's hot, it's sweaty.
Yeah, not really a home game for fucking Philadelphia it says on here, does it?
I'm still going with the Eagles, even though I'm a Packers fan. I think that's a really tough matchup out the gate.
I was wondering, is there a Friday Night Football around? But I didn't actually know about it was a Brazil game, so That was surprising. Okay.
I'm excited for that.
Oh god, I hate these. This is like one of my least favorite divisional matchups here.
Saints.
Saints and Panthers. I'm gonna say Saints, but like, God, I never like those games. I just don't. But Panthers are literally dead last right now. Or we're no, yeah, they were dead last year. And of course they didn't even get to benefit from that because the Bears had the number 1 pick. So it's like, I don't got a lot of hope for the Panthers this year at all. But you know,
I think they'll win a few more games than they did last year.
I would hope, yeah.
Maybe they'll win like 5 games. We'll see at the end.
Okay. Yeah, the Giants. Yeah, so this is interesting. These teams were both kind of like off a bit of a loss of like big players. We lost, although we did get Aaron Jones, we did lose quite a few receivers that weren't Justin Jefferson. And then I know that the Giants don't have Saquon Barkley anymore. Finally,
I think the Giants are garbage without him. Even though Sam Darnold, like it's gonna be because like. I feel like he hasn't ever actually, like, I know in San Francisco kind of last year, where he played okay. I think if he's surrounded by talent, maybe he could be serviceable. I think the Vikings are definitely the better team. I go with the Vikings.
Okay, all right. Thank you for kind of steering me there. I think you're right as well. Both teams are very much like in a similar boat right now, though. Anyway, next one: Commanders, Buccaneers.
I
got
Jaden Daniels
I'll look this up again.
Promising, but I think the Commanders are just not good.
So he's new again, right?
Yeah, he's second pick in the draft.
Yeah.
And he's showing a lot of promise, but like, I don't know, that Buccaneers defense is still really good. Baker Mayfield had a really good year last year. They made the division.
I'm saying Buccaneers because, again, growing pains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is going to be a really good game as well.
Yeah, dang, yeah. I imagine that's like Sunday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams versus... I'm going to say... Oh, man. I want to say Lions in this one. I think I'll say Lions.
I'm leaning...
Nothing really changed with the Lions or the Rams, really,
I'm
do they?
lean Detroit.
Like, they're kind of...
I think this game could go either way, though. And then again, the Lions beat the Rams in the playoffs in the wild card last year, so this can maybe be a redemption game. I'm still leaning Detroit, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if...
Okay, shit. I was about to submit week to pool there. All right, so let's try and speed up now. Right now, we've talked. We've really looked at the rosters. Let's just try and click through these a little bit faster because we've already been on for like 12 minutes. I don't want this to be like an hour long like last time.
Should be like 45.
Okay, so I would say for this game here,
this game is close.
I will say Dolphins.
I'm saying Dolphins as well. I think on Thursday night that's a good matchup.
I'm gonna say that the Jets get their first win the next game here. For this game,
I'm leaning.
God.
This is tough.
Jags are at home for this game. I'll put them above. Even though the Browns are good, I don't think they're like they might just have a bad game there. Also, why is it saying they're off a bye? They're not off a mini. Oh yeah, mini bye because Thursday football. Yeah, I see. And then
the Ravens are clearly the better team, I think.
Yeah, and then
standard.
And then I'll say Steelers get their first win.
Yeah.
And then I feel like the Chiefs really turned the table on that whole Joe Burrow versus Mahomes thing last year.
Yeah.
I think that changed. So I think I'll say, especially because they're at home, I'll say win
there.
there.
Chiefs for this one.
And then Colts versus Packers.
I'm leaning
Packers. I'm leaning Packers.
Packers are going to be really good, I feel like.
Chargers. I'm gonna say they win this one again. Yeah. We're gonna have faith in them to win 2 in a row. And then this game, Seahawks versus Patriots. Interesting game this one might be. I'll say Seahawks for now.
I'm leaning Seahawks as well. We'll see how week 1 goes, though. If the Patriots can even make it like a 1, maybe like 1 possession, even a 10-point game versus Cincinnati, I feel like they have the talent.
To beat Seattle? Yeah, exactly. I think so, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously Texans here. even with like the young roster, I just don't think that. I think that the Bears roster is still younger. So I'll give San Fran the win here. Although who knows with the Vikings, maybe it'll end up being like a comeback. We never really know with them. But I'm gonna say do the rational one and be like San Francisco's gonna win this one. And then for this one probably Cowboys. Mm-hmm. And then I think I'll put Washington above the Giants here, just because it is like a pretty big matchup this one, and also at home for sure.
And also they're pretty even when it comes to skill, in my opinion. Like for each team, they're about the same this year.
Were the Lions and Buccaneers playing against each other in the playoffs last year?
They played the divisional.
Yeah.
And the Lions won, and I think they'll do it again. That's what I think.
I disagree. I disagree.
With the Bucks?
I think the Bucks are going to really be wanting to avenge that one, to say the least. Cardinals versus the Rams. I'm going Rams.
I'm going with the Cardinals. I feel like
okay.
they might start out not bad. We'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah, and Eagles over the Falcons, I think, to end it off is safe bet there. Next. All right. Man, we got a lot of AFC versus NFC games this week. But I think to start off, it'll probably be Jets winning this one. Again, every time the Jets play the Patriots now, it's just like they usually got enough anger now to beat them. Again, they're slowly just avenging them for all the years, right? And then Chargers versus Steelers, I'm going to say maybe Chargers do drop one here. Steelers have had a bit more time now to adjust to their new quarterback, to the new situation. I'll say that they win that one. Jaguars versus the Bills, probably Bills, because they're off a mini bye as well. Titans versus Packers, I'll say... I feel like I'm thinking Packers, yeah. This one's
gonna be interesting.
I still think it's... I think I'm probably leading Texans on this one.
Minnesota's a deceiving team, though. I feel like it's gonna be the team where if they win, they have enough talent. I think it depends on how the quarterback plays, how Sam Darnold or whoever they have. Because also a hot take is, I feel like Sam Darnold might not be the starter for the whole season. I feel like they might throw someone else in. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens there, yeah. Man, the Colts have been on a skid. So have the Bears, really. But I think I'm going to put Colts above here to get their first win of the year.
Win in like a 3-point, a last second field goal. It's going to be a close game, I think. But
Broncos, I have a lot of hope for. I'm going to put the Buccaneers up. Yeah. I know that 3-0 is a bit high for sure, but I feel like they're just going to start faltering towards maybe some better teams there. These teams, again, they're both kind of deceiving. They could be better than either of them could eke out this one. I think I'm going to say maybe... I'll say Giants. They haven't won yet. I'll give Giants a win there. The Giants are very much, I think at this point, they probably deserve a bit of a win at this point. And then, yeah, Dolphins versus Seahawks.
I think the Dolphins are just the better team.
Yeah, Dolphins probably there.
Tyreek Hill, won last year. He was the best receiver. Him and Justin Jefferson, they're really close, neck and neck.
I'm gonna give an upset here to the Panthers because I think that the Raiders are one of those teams that can have that do have those occasional very bad games, as the Steelers tend to do sometimes too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll give that to the Panthers there for their first win. I'll give this one to the Cowboys. Are a pretty good regular season team. I can see them winning this one, especially at home at the stadium, AT&T Stadium there. Yeah, easy win for the Chiefs. Even with them being away, I'm sure they can get that win. And then Bengals should be able to get this. And in the NFC here, we have Eagles versus Saints. Probably Eagles, I'm leaning towards. San Fran versus LA. I'll give this to LA. It's a big game, this one. So I can see it. I can see that one going really either way, but I'll give it to the Rams. And then, I think I'm going to say Cardinals win this one.
I'm going with Detroit, but that one could go either way as well.
Yes, yeah, I can imagine that one going either way too. All right, next week, we got Jaguars versus Texans. I think it'll be probably Texans there.
They're at home as well.
Yeah. And then we got Steelers versus the Colts. I think the Colts probably win. Just because, again.
For me, that's the Steelers' first loss of the season.
Oh, for you, okay. Yeah, so for me, the Steelers are right in the middle of the road, about 2-2. I'll say the Jets here. I'm really putting the Broncos in the hole deep right now, but I do think that they're kind of just... I just don't see a lot going for them this year.
And they have a pretty challenging schedule, too.
Yes, pretty challenging so far. I'll give this one to the Chargers. The Chargers, I definitely get that one win
and the Chiefs,
of the year against the Chiefs.
Always aren't as great in the early season as they are near the end. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. All right, and then we got Browns versus Raiders here. I'm gonna give Raiders a win here, first win of the year.
Because the Browns are 0-4 for you, eh?
Yeah, both teams are kind of lower, but again, they're at home, right? So I do think that they're gonna get a win there for sure. And then I'll give Bills a loss here against the Ravens.
Yeah, I agree. Bills are good, but I feel like the Bills, they're a good team, but when they face off against other really good teams, there's a lot of flaws that show with them.
I'm checking the Titans here. Okay. Against the Dolphins, probably not a win there either.
Yeah, I'd go with Dolphins. Dolphins 4-0 for me. You too?
For me, they're also 4-0, yeah. But they've had an easy schedule so far. Cincinnati Bengals versus the Carolina Panthers. I'll say Bengals there. Yeah, and then
49ers.
49ers probably here, even with the mini bye there. I think the Cowboys will even away will probably beat the Giants because they usually been pretty good away from the Giants from when they're at the Giants, they tend to still win those games anyway. Big game coming up here, isn't it? Vikings versus Packers.
I think
Packers
win it just because they're at home.
Yeah, and also I think you'll have a bit more momentum than we do at this point in the season too. I think y'all are just going to be always ahead of us in momentum, just generally this year, and that's fine.
So it's not like a victory year for you guys, it's like a rebuilding year.
Yeah, it really is. We really are changing things up for the most part. Aside from like Jefferson, of course, and then Rams versus Bears. I'm gonna say I'm gonna give Bears the first win of the year here on my end.
The win because they're at home.
Yeah, Eagles win this one. So that's the first loss for the Buccaneers so far this year. And then Saints versus Falcons. I'm gonna say
I give the
Falcons the win because again that's a known. I didn't really know for a long time, but that is a pretty important divisional game as well, and one that the Saints were actually really down on for a long time. But now they've been kind of coming back. I do think the Falcons will still kind of keep it their way this game. And then Cardinals, I'll give them a win here as well. Commanders, where are they at? They're one. Yeah, okay.
I'll go with the
Cardinals.
Cardinals, yeah.
And then Lions.
I'll go with the Lions.
Lions are okay. All right, next game.
So there's 4 undefeated teams left: the Ravens, Dolphins,
Lions. Texans, Cowboys, and Eagles. That's it.
I have for me the Eagles, Lions, Ravens, and Dolphins.
All right, yeah. Ravens. I think I gave them like one game where I was just like, I'm not sure about this. Yeah. I'm gonna say that on this first game here, week 5, the Bills will probably have like more. I think I don't know actually.
This went to the Texans. I think.
How has CJ started running?
He's not bad. I think he's young, so he's definitely on the better side of like.
I just don't. The problem is none of these teams are really known for their defenses that I know of.
The Bills,
but I think the Bills maybe still have a little bit of advantage of the defensive game, so I'll put them above. I'll put them above the Texans there. Colts versus Jags. I'm gonna. Yeah, I'll say Jaguars as well. So Colts are 0-2 now in divisional games, but I do see the Jags taking this one at home, and then excuse me, Baltimore Ravens versus the Bengals. I'm still gonna say Ravens here. Honestly, Ravens have had a really easy schedule, but honestly, I still can see them going 4-1 there. Dolphins versus the Patriots. I'm giving this to the Patriots. I think they can get this one because they are at. I feel like when they're at home, they're usually a bit better against Miami, who is, again, considering the climate as well, if maybe even compared to freaking Miami, I think the home advantage is really strong there, so I can see them winning that one. Raiders versus Broncos.
I say the Broncos get their
I say Broncos as well. They haven't won yet. We'll give them a win. And then, Jets versus Vikings.
I feel like this could be a trap game for the Jets because the Vikings have played Aaron Rodgers so much. So I'm actually going to go with
that just makes me more worried about Aaron Rodgers knowing how we are more. So I'm going to say Jets. We got a difference of opinion there, I see. You're being really nice to the Vikings, though. I'm proud of you.
2-3. That's not bad.
Yeah, we're 1-4 in my fucking one. But we've had a hard schedule. We've had some tough.
I'm more bitter against the Vikings when they're doing really well. So if they're not as good, then I'm probably going to be nicer to them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Bears Browns versus the Washington Commanders. Yeah, kind of just a shitty game, this one. But man, I'm giving this to. No, I don't think home advantage really matters much here. I'll just give it to Cleveland. I'm giving it to the Browns. So I think that's every. They were the last 3 teams that hadn't won a game yet on my end. And then Cowboys probably win this because they're off a mini bye.
Yeah, I give Cowboys as well.
And I think I'll give it an upset to the Saints here because they have a lot of history, these teams too. Just generally, they've seen each other a couple times. And then Buccaneers versus Falcons. I'm still giving this to the Buccaneers even with them being away. And then Panthers versus the Bears. Some pretty low teams here, but
I'm gonna lean Chicago.
I'm probably leaning Chicago there too. The Cardinals versus San Fran. I don't think the Cardinals have done much at San Francisco's home base normally, so I'll say San Francisco there. Giants versus Seahawks. I'm gonna say Giants because they're off the bye. again, they're both in similar situations. So, and then I'll give the Green Bay Packers one. I'll give that to you guys.
Yeah, the Packers have never with Matt LaFleur, they've never lost to the Rams.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that continues.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's everything. Okay, week 6. We got the Colts versus the Titans. They're off an actual bye here, so I imagine the Titans are going to win this one.
They won their first game for me. They're 1-4 now.
Dang, they were lost. They hadn't won yet. That's crazy. And then Texans versus Patriots. I imagine.
I hope the Texans can win.
Yeah, I imagine the Texans will win there. Steelers versus Raiders.
I think this is a good matchup for the Raiders. I think the Raiders can take it home.
Yeah, actually, you're right. I can see it too. Chargers, especially with the bye, even though they're at the Broncos, I just don't think it changes much. I'm going to say Los Angeles wins that one.
Yeah.
And then Bills versus Jets. Man, what a good choice for Monday Night Football there. That's crazy. What is that one you think going to be?
I say this is like a great duel. I think Aaron Rodgers turns back time to like 2020.
I see Bills winning.
I have the Jets winning this one.
Yeah, Bills.
Now the Bills are 2-4 for me, like last year when they had that bad.
Okay, yeah, and then the Jaguars versus the Bears. Again, I don't really see much. This is again one of those games I'm probably not going to watch. But I'll give this to the Jags. And then the Commanders versus Ravens, pretty obvious there. Also pretty obvious. The next one, Eagles versus Browns. I think Bengals will win away though against the Giants.
Yeah.
And then we got a divisional matchup against the Seahawks. But again, I think the 49ers are pretty freaking good this year. I think that especially last year showed that they're pretty good against their division. I think we've learned that really no matter where they are. So I'll put that as a win for them. And then Cardinals versus Packers. Probably considering they're at Lambeau, probably you guys.
Yeah.
And then Buccaneers are off a mini bye. Both these teams again are just kind of like I don't know.
I'm gonna say Saints because this division is just kind of like trash. I'd say it's kind
of not very great. I'll give it to the Saints. Yeah. And then we got Lions versus the Cowboys. I think the Lions they're going to win again. Frankly, I think especially after that bye, they're going to want to prove themselves that they got that win again. Sometimes I do think that it can be other way, but I think with the Lions it won't be. I think it'll be another one. And then
this one's like
how are the Panthers doing?
0-5. They'll probably have a 1-1.
I'm still gonna get to the Falcons. All right, next game or next week. All right, Patriots versus Jaguars, dude. What am I supposed to say about this one?
They won one actually. The Dolphins. I'm gonna give this one to the Jaguars.
Yeah, Jaguars too. They're 4-3. They're almost in the playoff range right now for me. I'll say the Colts lose here. I'll give this one to the Dolphins. And then we got the Tennessee Titans versus the Bills. Probably the Bills here.
Yeah, I think.
But I'll give an upset to the Browns this game because they're at home.
And the Browns aren't even that bad of a team. They just have a tough schedule.
Yeah, a very tough schedule on my end there too. Jets versus Steelers. Actually, Jets, because we know there's like those couple, usually 2 or 3 games at Heinz Field that just go awful for the Steelers. We gotta include one of those, at least one, at this point in the year. We're at week 7, and then with the AFC versus NFC games, we got Broncos versus Saints. I'll say
trash up. I think the Broncos can pull off an upset, but
Me too. I'll say that. I'm gonna say Texans overpower you guys.
Yeah,
again, a very big matchup because it's very much like a young team type thing.
I feel like Green Bay struggles against really quick and young teams.
Yeah, they can sometimes.
Slower, more technical teams. Then again, there's so much that hasn't been seen about the Packers. They have a new defensive coordinator. They were running a 3-4 last year. Now they're running a 4-3.
Yeah, a lot we don't know yet about like the Texans. I haven't really. These two teams we're still learning a lot about. For the Raiders versus the Rams, I'll say Rams here.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give both teams are off a bye here, but I think the Chiefs are off more of a bye, so I'll give the win to them.
I say they get the 49ers get redemption for the Super Bowl.
Okay. And then Baltimore versus Tampa. I'll say Baltimore.
I feel like Tampa Bay could upset them. I'm going with Tampa Bay personally.
All right. And then Chargers versus Cardinals. I'll give them my upset. I'll say the Cardinals.
Yeah, because the Chargers for me are 4-1, and them being 5-1 would be ridiculous. So.
I'm being really mean to my little team, the Vikings, so far, but I think off of a bye we can probably beat the Lions
and
at
they're
home.
Divisional matchup.
Yeah.
That's the Lions' first loss.
And then, dang, you really got them high up on your end. They're like middle of the pack for me. And then Seattle versus the Falcons. Falcons, how are they doing? How are the Seahawks doing? Yeah, I'll give it to Seahawks. And then this one I still see. I don't know if these two teams played already. No, they have not yet. I'm still playing this. I'll give this to the I think I'll give this to the Giants at home.
I might too. Yeah, why not? Why not?
Let's go back to. Okay, and then one more game here. Panthers versus Washington.
I think this is
awful game to end off with here.
The Panthers get their first win of the season. That's what I think. But also,
where are the Panthers for me? They're 1-5. Washington, they're not doing. They're both like the lowest teams in the NFC at this point. But I think I'm just gonna give it to the home team because, yeah. All right, next one. Week 8, Colts versus the Texans. Have these two teams played already?
I'm pretty sure.
Yes, they have.
Colts.
I still think it'll be Texans.
Yeah,
I think it'll be twice. I'm really trying to avoid evening out the matches this time like I did last year. I think it'll probably be Texans both times. There's just more like star power compared to the Colts. Yeah. The Colts feel very slow compared to the Texans right now, so I'll say them. And then especially at this point too. So and then Baltimore versus the Browns.
This could be another upset for like the Browns.
Yeah, I see it.
Has them above the Ravens. Now the Ravens are 5-3.
They're well down for me, so I'm gonna give them. I think there's more reasons to put them up for me. So I'm putting the Browns a win here. The Jets probably win against the Patriots. I think they already played before. It'll probably be another win for them. And then Kansas City versus Las Vegas. Las Vegas always gets a win at home. Give them that.
They do.
That one is like pretty often happens
for me, but could be either way. Who knows?
Okay, this is probably easy win for you guys, the Packers. Miami, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll say Lions again here against the Titans. That makes sense. And then Bills versus Seahawks. Yeah, a lot of these games are pretty obvious. Although this Saints one, I think I will give the Saints the win over the Chargers here. Because with that mini bye, I think they might be able to do it. Pretty bad matchup coming up here. Broncos versus the Panthers. I'll say Broncos.
Yeah.
And then Eagles versus Bengals. Which one? Yeah, probably. How are the Bengals doing on my end? I think they're doing good enough. I think they could win this one.
I'll give the Bengals.
And how are the Giants doing? They are 3-4. They can probably beat the Steelers.
I'll give the Steelers this one for myself.
Okay. Vikings versus the Rams. I think we can beat the Rams.
This is a close game. I'm gonna go with the Rams.
Wait, no, we're on first. Wait, is it Thursday night or is it
Thursday?
Oh, yeah, we don't have Kirk Cousins. I forgot about that. Yay! I forgot about that. The curse is no longer with us. Okay, I'll say this, and then, man, I'm talking a lot right now. I'm getting dry here. Falcons versus Buccaneers. I think I said Buccaneers before. I'll say it again. Probably gonna be Buccaneers. The Bears versus Washington. Again, not very great matchup here, but they're off a bye. I'll give it to the Bears. And then I think I can see the Cowboys also beating the 49ers here. The Cowboys are doing really well right now for me. They're number 1 in the conference, 6-1 for me.
They're 5-2 for me.
Okay, and then excuse me. All right, week 9. So
the season.
This is a great matchup to start with: Jets versus Texans. Because at this point, these two teams I imagine have probably figured out a little more about how their team works. I think I'll give this one to the.
I feel like this is gonna be an Aaron Rodgers classic where he just out-duels C.J. Stroud, but it's gonna be such a close.
Yeah, I'll even it out. I'll give Texans because Texans were like 7-1 too, so I'm putting them to 7-2 now on my end.
Same for me.
So Jets and Texans are now tied 7-2.
7-2 for me.
And then Patriots versus Titans. I smell an upset here, and also Patriots have been just ridiculously bad on mine So I'm gonna give a win here for the Patriots.
Titans just because they're 1-6, so this will make them 2-6.
All right. Oh, my cat is here.
Aww.
Ryan, can you handle this broadcast for a minute while I deal with something that I need to deal with?
Just go around and close it. Yeah. Coco. Go talk to the cat. Get it back.
Alright guys, we're back. Sorry about that. But we having to dash out for a second there. I'm probably uploading this raw too, so that doesn't help things.
That's
but
fine.
my cat is just like, she comes out when she wants to come out from outside, and when she does, you gotta make sure she can't go back out. So, anyway, back to this. We got Dolphins versus Bills here, and I believe it'll probably be Bills.
Yeah, me too.
Ravens versus Bengals here, probably Bengals. Ravens, yeah, pretty poor matchup there. It's gonna be easily Ravens there. Although I do think the Browns can pull off the upset. They're both kind of mid teams right now. I'll say the Browns win.
Yeah.
And then we're off a mini bye against the Colts. Colts have been pretty dwindling, even compared to us. So I'm saying the Vikings here. We'll do Jaguars versus Eagles. I'm gonna say Eagles. And then Buccaneers versus Chiefs, an old Super Bowl rematch, but I do think it'll be Chiefs all the way.
100%.
And then Washington versus New York. This is a known.
I'm gonna give to New York because they're at home.
Yeah, me too. And then Cowboys versus Falcons.
I think the Falcons could pull it.
I think also, I'm just thinking back to that one game where they lost horribly. I think maybe they're thinking about that in this day. We'll give the Falcons the win there. And then Saints again. The Saints never lose to the Panthers ever. they're always like, it's usually like a blowout too, those games. It's just those are literally the worst games to watch ever. Yeah. Saints versus Panthers. Not a very close divisional matchup there normally. Bears versus Cardinals. I would say Cardinals. Cardinals been a little low on my end. Not as low as the Bears though. And then the Rams versus the Seahawks. I'll say Seahawks.
Yeah.
And then great game coming up here. Have y'all played already? Let me just check.
No, we haven't.
No. Okay.
I'm gonna say the Packers just because they're at home. That's because these teams are very close.
Yeah, it might be one of those ones that does get split. It might be a split series. Yeah. But I'll say you guys as well. A lot of home wins for me. This time, okay. Week 10.
Every team.
Yeah, almost every team was one at home. Okay, Bengals versus Ravens.
I say the Ravens.
I'm going to say the Bengals, especially because they're probably playing. They'll be playing this week at this point to even it out on my end. I'm going to say that they win and make it a tied conference lead at 7-3 here. And then the Broncos versus the Chiefs. Probably the Chiefs.
I think.
Not a very close divisional matchup on that end. And then Buffalo versus the Colts.
I feel like the Colts could pull off a weird upset.
I think the Colts and the Bills have had one of those weird kind of somewhat weird rivalries where like usually kind of ends up being an upset for whoever's not expected to win. So I'll say the Colts there. Chargers probably for this next one as well. Where are the Chargers for me? They're 5-4. The AFC West is kind of underperforming for me. Though they're like by far the worst of the division. The Chargers winning with a 5-4 record, and the Chiefs are just right behind them.
Chiefs are 6-3 for me, then the 4-5 Chargers.
But again, as we know, the Chiefs are really good in the playoffs and not as great in the regular season, as we've learned. So, and then Patriots versus Bears. I'm giving the Patriots a win here because Patriots have been just having a hard year. We're going to give them a win. Steelers are off a bye, so I imagine they win. The Jags, dude. I mean, did we play this team last year?
I'm not sure.
Not sure either. Again, really depends on the quarterback play, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really does.
This is a heads and tails.
I'll say. I don't know.
Go with whatever you want. I'm going with Jacksonville, but you can go with the Vikings if you want.
No, it's not about you, Rye. It's about me. I don't know what to pick. I'm gonna say Jags as
You can
well.
also- you can flip a coin
I'm
if
saying
you want.
Jags. I'm saying Jags.
You want to flip a coin?
No, Jags. All right. The Jets versus the Cardinals. I would say pretty obvious, especially with mini bye, that they're gonna win.
I hope.
And then this is a great game as well. This is like another young team matchup. I'll say Texans here.
Yeah. I
Against the Lions. And then I'll say Dolphins versus the Rams. It'll probably be. Yeah, I can see the Rams actually winning here. Maybe. Yeah, I can see them winning. Giants will win this. A game against the Panthers.
I'm gonna see the Panthers getting upset.
All right. And then the Atlanta Falcons will. I think they'll.
I think they'll win.
I think they'll win. Yeah. Okay, both of those teams are just right next to each other too, so it's like kind of makes sense that the Falcons will probably be pushing ahead. Definitely near the end of this bracket round, we should really start paying attention to like who wants things more compared to looking at the seeding we have. You know what I mean? San Fran will win here off of bye, and I'll say Cowboys again when. No, I don't think they play the Eagles yet. I'll say they win this one. Yeah, they got the upper hand in the NFC East right now.
Yeah.
And now next game. Raiders versus the Dolphins. I'm still going to say Dolphins even with the bye.
I would agree.
I'll say the Steelers win at home because we know that they like to beat the Ravens at home when they're at home. Bengals versus Chargers. I'll give the Chargers a win here. But both the two leaders in the AFC East and AFC North are going to be losing this week. Chiefs versus Bills, dude. Again, the Bills are at home. I really think it's gonna be Bills.
I'll give the Bills the win.
Yeah, it might turn out different in the playoffs though if these two teams come against each other in the future. But I think right now it'll probably be a win for them. And then
I say the Colts getting upset versus the Jets because the Jets are 8-2, so this will just bump them down to 8-3.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it too. I think the Colts and Jets have had history too. I think I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, they played in the Super Bowl like a long time ago, like 60s.
I don't know. I've heard. I don't know. Maybe I'm just misremembering most stuff. Anyway, Minnesota Vikings versus Tennessee Titans. I don't think the Titans are particularly good on mine. I'm gonna say the Vikings win.
Yeah.
So we're just barely staying in the playoff race right now at the 7th. Yeah, we're both 5-5. Great.
Yeah.
All right. And then Los Angeles versus the Patriots. I can see the Patriots getting an upset here because the Rams are particularly great in mine. They're only 4-6, so I can see the Patriots getting the 4-7 with that win. The Jaguars versus the Lions. I'll say the Lions win.
What about the Saints and Browns?
Oh, I missed the fucking Saints and Browns game. What the hell? And my eyes just scrolled past it. Okay. The Saints versus the Browns.
I'll go with the.
I'll go with the.
I'm going with the Saints just because they're at home.
Yeah, and also they want to get ahead of the Falcons, right? Because they know the Falcons are easily going to win against their game against the Broncos.
Yeah.
So they gotta stay ahead there. And then Cowboys versus Texans. I think the Cowboys will hold just fine. I think they'll hold just fine.
Yeah, I think they will.
Not only the Texans will win that one. And then Washington versus Philadelphia. Philadelphia should win this one. Bears versus y'all literally have y'all will still own the Bears even after Aaron Rodgers is not there anymore. As we learned last year, y'all still did fine against them, more than fine in fact. So y'all are gonna win that, and then Seahawks versus 49ers. I'll say the Seahawks can maybe win this one because
why not?
it is a bye coming off a bye. That is all for week 11. Week 12, Steelers versus Browns. Dude, no way. You know what, Ryan? I just realized something.
What?
This is week 12.
Yeah.
And these two teams are playing on Thursday Night Football. I'm pretty sure 5 years ago, in week 12, on Thursday Night Football, with these two teams playing, was when the Myles Garrett incident happened.
Probably.
I literally think it was this exact week with this exact matchup on this exact day. I think it's literally, they're just begging for a repeat of it. And so let me just think about that. I'm pretty sure Pittsburgh could not get any points, but the Browns were like only just... Yeah. All right. I think I'm going to say Browns. I'm literally just going to predict a repeat of that game because they're literally the NFL's asking for it to happen.
Steelers, but either or can happen.
Again, both teams are not doing well, so it's okay. They're just kind of middle of the pack for me. I guess they're not like horrible. Titans versus Texans.
I'm leaning.
I'm going to say Texans as well. And then we got the Patriots versus the Dolphins.
I
So
the Dolphins.
I'll say the Dolphins there. Raiders versus Broncos. I'm gonna give Broncos an upset. Even though they're away. Chargers as well. I think they can win against the Ravens. So they're definitely So now they pull ahead of the Chiefs a little bit. Well, actually, the Chiefs have a game against the Panthers next, so probably won't lose that one. And then above that, the Lions versus the Colts. I'll give Colts an upset here because the Lions are kind of underperforming as of late on my bracket. So I think the Colts probably are in reaching distance of them.
I'll give the Colts an upset too.
Have we played against the Bears yet? Let's just have a look. We have not, but I do believe that when we're at the Bears Stadium, we're not very good. So I'm going to give the Bears the win here.
Bears the win too,
and then, Buccaneers versus the Giants. I'll say
Buccaneers.
I'm saying Giants. I'll say also the Washington could probably sneak up against because they're at home. I think they can probably sneak up against the Cowboys and win there. And then with this game as well, I think I'll say Cardinals because they got to bye. I don't think home court advantage. I don't think home court is like too. Well, actually, it kind of is though, because like they're way off from each other, aren't they? I think I'll still say Cardinals there though, and then San Francisco versus Green Bay.
I think
I'm saying San Fran.
Demons. I'm going with San Fran as well.
Yeah, I don't think.
Now
I can't remember how your matchups have gone before.
The San Francisco kicks our ass every time.
Yeah, I think it's usually that way.
Here's the thing. This might be the best year, for the Packers to break that and get over that hump. But I feel like if they do it, it's going to be at some point in the playoffs. And hint, wink, wink. So.
Well, also my point too, right, is my reason more for doing it is that y'all are way ahead of my bracket. I've been very generous to your team, so I need to knock them down a couple pegs. And then we got Philadelphia versus the Rams, and I think I'm going to say the Rams get an upset.
Yeah.
Because they've had these two teams have had history. I think the Rams will get it. All right, week 13. Raiders already won against the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will win just fine this game.
Chiefs, yeah.
We'll even that divisional matchup out. Colts versus Patriots. I'll say Patriots get another win here. So not the Colts down to 5-8, and the Patriots will now be also 5-8.
1 minute. Sorry, my thing just kind of glitched, but it's fine now.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll give the Patriots a win.
And then Steelers versus the Bengals. I'm gonna say.
I'll give this one to the Bengals because they're trying to make a playoff push.
Yeah, I don't think they can afford to lose this damn game. Texans versus Jaguars, though, I still even think with the bye, I don't think the Jags are just going to be as fast as the Texans are.
No. But
again, the AFC South is very much being left in the dust here by the Texans. But again, that's what everybody's kind of expecting this year, right? Considering how they were. Like, the AFC South generally last year was really the only glimmer of hope from it was the Texans kind of coming out near the end there. Because even the Jaguars, with them winning, they were just so shaky, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, I still think it'll be Texans here. They are now 10-3, by the way. First 10-win team. It's because they haven't had their bye yet. And then, they haven't had their bye yet. And then the Browns versus the Broncos.
I think the Broncos.
I think the Broncos will win. Yeah. And then Dolphins versus Green Bay. You know what? I can see the Dolphins winning against you guys, personally.
I can see Green Bay winning.
Again, like, y'all are both... Again, the Dolphins maybe are a little more... They're definitely not as fast as you guys, but they're a little more mature.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put them above you guys for that reason. Chargers versus Falcons. I think the Chargers might drop this one to the Falcons, just because of the bye, but it could go the other way, honestly. Jets just way faster than the Seahawks.
I'm gonna go with the Seahawks for an upset.
Okay. All right. Nice. And then Titans and the Commanders. Again, I haven't really thought of Titans in a while.
I'll go with the Titans.
Yeah, me too. Because they're both bottom feeders at this point on my end. And then Eagles versus the Ravens. I would say that the Ravens... I think the Ravens can do it.
I think the Ravens are the better team.
And then San Fran versus the Bills, dude. I think the Bills... I think the 49ers are a little more composed than the Bills
I'm leaning towards Buffalo for a late season upset to make a playoff push. For me, they're 6-5, and if they win this, it's 7-5. That's a big thing. So I think, because for you, they're doing
better on my end. And plus, the 49ers look very much like... Again, I think we've learned that the 49ers have just been just a little bit more mature team than maybe some of these young teams have been. So I'll push for the 49ers to get that one. And then Chicago versus the Lions.
Lions should be able to win this one pretty easily.
Yeah, Lions at home at Ford Field. New York versus. Let's just see how that game went last time. Yeah, it was a away win for the Cowboys.
I think it's going to be the same.
It probably will be Cowboys again. Yeah. Cardinals versus. I think we've won against the Cardinals pretty well.
I think you can win.
Before, I think we can win this one at home. The Saints, I think we'll get an upset against the. I'm not even sure if it's really an upset because the Rams are only like 5-7 for me, but I still think that the Saints will win this one. And then Buccaneers versus Panthers. Will give because Buccaneers have really fallen hard for me, so I'm going to give the Panthers a bit of an upset here and give them their second win of the year. They're only 2-10 right now.
They're 3-9 for me, which is also still pretty bad.
Yeah. All right. Week 14. All right. So let's. I think by like week 15 we should start really focusing on their seeding.
Yeah.
To see where we can slot them in. Yeah. So here we go. Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Titans. I would say probably.
I think because they still can make the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they're probably playing for a little more than the Titans are at this point. So yeah, and then Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I would also say that I'll say the Browns. I'll say the Browns are probably also pushing for a little more.
This is so close. They're 6-6 for me.
Okay, no, the Steelers are 4-9, Browns 6-7. So the Browns are pulling ahead a little bit here. Jets versus the Dolphins, though, I see the Dolphins taking over. This is a very important game for me because they're both tied at 9-3 for me. So this is a very important game. Dolphins are 10-3, Jets are 9-4 with this win. Chargers versus the Chiefs as well. Also super important. I'm going to give the Chiefs the win to edge them over the Chargers in the divisional race. Because again, the Chiefs are still, even with their some of their I think expected regular season moves on my end, I think that they're still going to be able to win when they need to. Because again, that's what they did last year. That's for sure. They really did win when they needed to. Raiders versus the Buccaneers. I will say the Raiders are kind of out at this point, so I'm gonna put out the Buccaneers.
You're upset for the Raiders. This one, I feel like the Bills. I feel like the Bills got really good towards the end of the season last year, so I think that's what might happen too.
I believe that too. I think the Bills will be good there. Bengals versus the Cowboys. I will probably say, Cowboys, because they're also at AT&T. Okay, and then let me just remind myself. Did y'all play already?
Yeah.
Yes, and the Green Bay won
I think
before.
This is the time when Detroit can beat us.
Yeah, I believe so too. Ford Field. Falcons versus Vikings. I think we've always won against the Falcons too, so we'll win that. We'll put that one.
Yeah.
The Giants, I think, can beat the Saints though. The Giants are about the same record as the Saints are, so I'll put them above. And then the Panthers versus the Eagles. I'll say the Eagles. So the Eagles and Giants are really fighting for those wild card spots right now. The Cowboys are a good bit ahead. And then the Cardinals versus the Seahawks. I'm going to put the Seahawks a bit ahead. So they're also tied right now. The Cardinals versus the Seahawks. So now I'll put the Seahawks ahead of the Arizona and also Los Angeles just a little bit. And in San Fran, easy win.
They should be able to.
Great. Okay. All right, you good? We're good? All right. Week 15. Awesome. So the Texans are off a very late bye. I think they're at 10-3. I think they'll probably win this one. This will be a very important game in my. They're very much an important game in my bracket now. They'll win. The Cincinnati versus Titans game. I will say Cincinnati needs to keep winning these. They need way more to lose to the Titans. The Jets as well. I think they have a lot more than to lose to the Jaguars at this point. But you know what?
I'm gonna give the Jaguars an upset. Why?
No, they're not. Yeah, the Jaguars aren't the worst. So I think I'll give them a win at home. The Browns, I don't think have been particularly good against the Chiefs. I'm giving the Chiefs a win there. I will give the Broncos a win because they're at home and they also have the bye. Even though the Colts also have the bye, I think Broncos will be able to get that one. They are 6-8 on my end.
They're 5-9.
And then what's the next game here? Baltimore versus the Giants. I'm giving Baltimore the game here for sure. They've fallen a little bit behind since they started really well in my bracket, but I think they can win this one and keep themselves in it. They're a 7th seed right now. And then the Buccaneers versus the Chargers, I would say Chargers.
Yeah.
And then, the Patriots versus the Cardinals. I'm gonna say Cardinals too, because the Cardinals are still somewhat in the running at this point, but the Patriots really aren't on their end. And then Bills versus Lions. I think the Bills are. The way how antsy they can get. I think they're still a little more composed than the Lions are.
I'll give them the win as well.
Which would be a devastating blow to the Lions. They're now 9th seeded behind us.
For you.
Yeah. So, and then the Steelers versus the Eagles. The Steelers. I did not pronounce that at all correctly. I'll say that the Eagles get a win, and since the Giants lost earlier, that means that they're definitely got a good foothold on the 5th seed now. And then the Falcons versus the Raiders, I will say, probably the Falcons, because they really got to play for that 4th seed now. It's kind of coming back to what happened last year, where it's like they're fighting for divisional space.
Yeah.
Because all of the wildcard spots are already taken. You know what I mean? Like, all the wildcard spots are already being dominated by the AFC East.
Yeah.
Like the Cowboys, Eagles, Giants.
Or NFC, yeah.
Or NFC East, dumbass. Yeah. All right. Rams versus 49ers. I'll say
Rams, just because it's near the end. Sorry, 49ers, because it's near the end of the season and they're getting locked in for the playoffs.
Yeah. Saints playing for quite a bit too, so I'll put them over to keep on keeping on next to the Vikings. Cowboys versus Panthers, probably Cowboys.
Cowboys should be able
and then y'all, I think y'all could beat the Seahawks. Even though I know there's a lot with history with these games, I think y'all can still beat them. We lost the Bears earlier this year. I think we can avenge that. So now we're 2-2 record wise, and we're 8-6. We still got the sixth seed. And now let's move on to the next week 16. We got 3 more weeks left. Any more buys left now? No, I think we're done now. We got the Browns versus the Bengals here. So the Bengals, I do believe, will probably get this one, considering the Browns at this point are kind of down.
I'll go with the
Bengals. I think the Chiefs will get a win where they need to here and beat the Texans. The Texans are still, for now at least, they're the number 1 seed at 11-4, but that might change in a minute once we get to the Ravens and the Bills games. So we'll see what happens there. So the Ravens are this is a Saturday game, and
I'm gonna go with the Ravens because they're trying to.
Yeah, Ravens too. I think
year in a row. For me.
Yeah, I think so too. And then the Colts, Titans. This is like a game that no one gives a flying fuck about. I'm gonna keep the absolute the awful division record going. I'm gonna give the win to the Titans here. So the Colts are 0-5 in the division. So I'm definitely not balancing that out this year. And then the New England Patriots versus the Bills. The Bills just got way more to do right now. So now they're first seeded over the Texans. And then the Denver Broncos versus the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm gonna give this to the Chargers. Yeah. And then Jags versus Raiders.
This is the game where the Jaguars lose in a heartbreaker. Because they're 7-7 for me, then they would go to 7-8. Makes it a lot harder to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I'll say Raiders. No, actually, I'll say Jaguars. I'm saying Jaguars. So they're 8-7. 8-7 for the Jaguars there. And then we got the Rams versus the Jets. The Rams really don't have a lot to play for, but I do think it'll still be. I think it'll be the Jets because they're also fighting to stay alive right now. They're 7th seed. And then we got the San Francisco 49ers versus the Miami Dolphins. I think the Dolphins can win and stay up alive with the Bills. It's really coming down to the wire with the Bills and the Dolphins yet again this year, as it was last year. Or was it last year? I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago. I don't remember. It was last year. Okay. The Lions versus the Bears.
I think the Bears getting upset because they're at home, and I feel like Chicago, they've been bad for so long. Even though they're losing, they still.
But let's think about this team. I don't know. Think about this team how they are in crunch time. I think they can beat the Bears.
Yeah.
And stay in because they need again. It's their 9th seed. They're just hanging on by a thread. So.
They're 6th seed for me. They're 9-6. So
okay, yeah. And then there's the Giants versus the Falcons. I think I'll give the Falcons a crushing blow here because also they got to stay in too over the Saints. And then the Eagles versus Washington. The Eagles, I think they can beat Washington anywhere. And then the Cardinals versus the Panthers. What should I say here? I'll say Cardinals. At this point, yeah.
I'll go with.
Oh no.
I'll go with the Panthers for an upset.
All right. And then how are the Seahawks doing?
I think the Seahawks can beat you just because.
I think we'll beat the Seahawks. I got confidence in us. Even with our history of them, I think we can beat them. And then the Buccaneers versus the Cowboys, dude. What should I say for this? Probably Cowboys.
The Bucs can pull off an upset.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can. You're right. I'll say that, and then I think y'all
should be able to
probably get the Saints just fine. Should yeah. So, it's week 17. This is Christmas week, so Wednesday. They're having the games on Wednesday for Christmas. Actually, they're moving them back even earlier. So yeah, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Steelers. I don't think the Steelers are trying anymore at this point, so we'll give this to them.
Steelers are 7-8 for me, and they're fighting. And Mike Tomlin wants to keep his perfect season streak, so I'm gonna give it the Saints.
Yeah, that makes sense for you actually. For sure to like see that happening, and then Ravens versus Texans. Ravens, I think, really want to try and get ahead of the Texans here. They think they just push a little harder than them. And then the Broncos versus the Bengals. What will this be? I wonder. Oh yeah, of course the Bengals. Yeah. Chargers will probably win over the Patriots to stay alive. They're 8th seed in my opinion, so they're literally right outside. And then we got Titans versus the Jaguars, which I think I'll give.
They're still fighting for me. They're 8-8 now, 9th seed.
Yeah, I'll give them that too. So they're 9-7 for me, just outside the playoffs as well. And then the Jets versus the Bills. What would this be? I will say probably the Bills. So it's kind of becoming clear who's going to win the division at this point for me because it's Bills are kind of a win against the Dolphins right now. Actually, the Dolphins have an easy opponent though, so I will say the Dolphins will win anyways. So the Jets are kind of slowly losing their ground against the Bills and the Dolphins here, who have had maybe a little more time, right, with their teams. And then the Colts versus the New York Giants, one of the few AFC versus NFC games here. I will say that the Giants really got to win this one, so I'll give that to them.
I'll just give it to them.
And then the Saints as well are really fighting as well, compared to the Raiders who are 3-12, so who are kind of tanking. So we will at this point, so we'll give them a win there. The Seahawks versus the Bears, though.
I'll give it to the Bears.
I think I'm going to give it to the Bears because they're like the Seahawks are kind of a little too far gone at this point.
Yeah.
Anyways, so probably going to just be like really who shows up that game, and I'll say the Bears. Cardinals versus the Raiders. Cardinals have got a little more to fight for, but I think it'll be an upset.
Rams.
I think it'll be an upset. I think it'll be Cardinals lose. So Cardinals are now 7-9. Rams are now 6-10. For me, and then Falcons versus Washington. Where are the Washington Matters? They're pretty bad right now. We'll give this to the Falcons. Falcons are going to win that one.
Yeah, I'll give this one to the Washington as an upset, actually.
And then, how did this game go before? Y'all won.
I think you guys.
But I think
us in week 17. I think if you guys have a healthy.
No, but think about last year though.
But you guys had no. You guys, we were. That's when you played Jaron Hall, and he was like terrible.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of hope, was there? And again, but how good are we doing generally? I think we're a game actually behind you, so we're really playing. I can't give it to the Vikings, dude. I can't. No, I'm gonna give it to you guys. Because again, y'all I think are going to turn the Jets at this point, considering how last year went. I think y'all will be pushing a lot to considering how last year went. I think y'all are going to be pushing a similar amount at this point in the season.
Bucks.
Here, I'll say the Buccaneers. Yeah.
I think the Eagles can win this one to go ahead in the division for me.
Yeah, important game this is, and then it's all going to come down to week 17 for me, who wins the division here, or sorry, week 18.
Yeah.
And then the Lions versus the 49ers. I will say,
I'm gonna say
the Lions pull off an upset. They actually stay in. So they're 7th seeded right now.
They're 5th.
Imagine if the Packers, Vikings, Lions all get in, then that'd be insane. All right, next. So no conference, no games between conferences.
No
just
crossovers.
Just like a lot of divisional games here. So Raiders
Chargers.
Done and dead. The Chargers are going to win.
Chargers are going to win because they're fighting, so they finish 9-8.
Yeah, so the Chargers and Chiefs got easy wins because they're just like these are teams are just trying to play for the draft at this point. And then we got the Titans versus Texans.
I go with the Texans.
And I would say Texans as well. And then Jaguars versus the Colts. I'll say I think the Jags will probably win. I think so. And then the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm gonna say. Oh yeah, no, never mind. I was thinking of a different matchup. Actually, this is pretty obvious as well.
I did the Ravens too. So now the Ravens locked in the first seed for me.
Okay, they're sixth seed for me. Buffalo Bills versus the Patriots. Patriots again are kind of on the losing end here, so I don't think they'll win. And I think I'm going to give the Jets one more win to see if they can stay up in the playoffs here. I think they're just going to be out of it barely by a little bit. And then we will say here for the. It
doesn't really matter. I'll give the Rams just because they're at home. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, this one doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, Rams at home. San Francisco and the Cardinals. I think I'll give it to the 49ers here. A lot of these games are pretty good, are pretty boring if I'm being honest, but that's okay.
I'll give this one to the Packers. This week to finish the season strong.
Cowboys are probably going to win against the Commanders as well.
Bucks versus Saints. I'm going to say the Saints just because the Bucks are out of the playoffs and the Saints are still trying to fight.
I'm going to say Buccaneers. I think they're going to end up with a tied record. 9-8, both of them. Winning record.
With the Lions.
And then over here, I'll say, yeah, I don't know. How did we play last time against the Lions? We won. We were off a bye at that time. But yeah, I think with the Lions, especially how they played last year at the end, I think I'll also give it to them as well. So Vikings are probably just going to barely miss it, unfortunately. Which is, just too bad, but again, that's just how it worked out, right?
I'll go with the Falcons.
Falcons here.
And I'll go with the Eagles.
Yeah.
All right. So now
who's the 7th seed? Oh, Bucks. The Bucks are 7th seed now.
The Vikings
because the Giants lost. Oh, actually, I kind of want to change it. It might. I don't know, right? Should I do Giants or Eagles here?
You pick. Probably Eagles.
The Eagles are playing for a lot too, so I'll say Eagles. All right.
So who's your first seed in the AFC?
Well, I'm gonna go off my NFL draft order here because that's actually probably a better way to do it than. So yeah, ultimately it's gonna be so basically in terms of order from the worst record here, like teams who didn't make the playoffs.
18,
because that's people who don't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So Panthers, Commanders, Raiders, Steelers, Titans, Bears, Colts, Patriots, Broncos, Seahawks, Browns, Cardinals, Rams, Saints, Giants, Vikings, Jaguars, and Jets. Jets are almost made it, but they were just pushed out at the last minute. They're 11-6.
The Patriots were the worst for me. 14.
Yeah. Worst team was Panthers, 2-15 for me. Make sure your records add up to 17 games real quick, right?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, good. You for me as well. That's what I'm seeing right now. Yeah, okay. All right, so let's just go on to the playoffs then.
So who's your what's your seeding for the AFC?
Okay, so AFC it's Bengals. So it's for seeding it's Kansas City is second seeded. Texans are third seed. Bengals are fourth. Ravens are fifth. Dolphins are sixth, and Chargers are seventh. So actually quite a bit how I expected it to go.
And who's your first seed? The Bills?
I imagine so, because they are right there. And then on the NFC side, it's Packers second seed, San Francisco third seed, Falcons fourth seed, Cowboys fifth seed, Lions sixth seed, and Buccaneers seventh seed, and then first seed is the Eagles.
All right, so first seed in the AFC is the Ravens. Second is the Bills. Third is the Chiefs. Fourth is the Texans. Fifth is the Bengals. Sixth is the Dolphins. And seventh is the Jets. Then in the NFC, first is the Eagles. Second is the Niners. Third is the Packers. Fourth is the Falcons. Fifth is the Lions. Sixth is the Cowboys. And seventh is the Vikings, who just squeezed in past the Saints.
All right. Well, yeah. Well, let's see how this goes here.
You should
So
do all your playoffs first, and I'll do all mine because we don't have the same matchups anymore.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, let's do the obvious ones out of the way first. So Cowboys. I think they're just an awful playoff team, so they'll probably lose here. To the Falcons there, and then because the Falcons actually did better than I expected they would. They got made to 11-6, and then over here we got the Bengals versus the Ravens. Which one should I do here? I think man. I think the Bengals will get to beat them in the playoffs. I'm gonna say Bengals. I'm gonna give them a bit of I'm gonna have hope there that they can beat them there. Over here, it's the Dolphins versus the Texans. I'll give this to Texans. I think, even though the Dolphins I think could beat them, I just still don't think it will happen. Chargers versus the Chiefs. Chiefs really do win when it matters most, so they'll win that. Okay, so this one's obvious, but what's about this one though?
That's a good matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, Lions versus the 49ers, dude. I don't know. Like, it really is like thinking about this very hard. I'm gonna go. Oh my god, I'm gonna say Lions.
All right, so I'll do mine.
Basically, the only upset I did. I didn't really do any other upsets.
So for my wild card, Texans versus Bengals. That's actually a really good matchup. I think that if the Bengals can stay healthy, I think Joe Burrow is like a born winner. Like, he's just like a really good quarterback. So I think he could like lead his team to a win if they make it that far, if they stay healthy. This is Dolphins versus Chiefs. Third year in a row. This has happened in the playoffs, and third year in a row the Chiefs are gonna win because the Chiefs win when it matters most. Bills versus Jets. I think the Bills are just not a great playoff team when it matters most. And if you're going against Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, if he stays healthy, I think the Jets actually have a really good shot at pulling off an upset versus the 2-seed Bills in the playoffs. I think Aaron Rodgers still would have it in the playoffs. I think the clutchness doesn't go away. At least in the first few rounds.
That's bold, right? So yeah, just I'm on my it's Bengals winning, Chiefs winning. So I understand those first two. The last one, I don't know, right? That's pretty ambitious, but I can see it, I guess, a little bit. I do think the Bills would probably still be the better team. They're a little more experienced with that core in the playoffs at this point. Very much, a lot more experience actually. I'm gonna be honest.
All right, so then Falcons versus Lions. I think the Lions are definitely the better team. Packers versus Cowboys. We saw this last year. And I think that it's going to be a closer game, but I still think the Packers are definitely the better team, especially in the playoffs. And 49ers versus Vikings. The Vikings have had a good run, but San Francisco is just like dominant compared to them. So I'm leaning San Francisco.
Okay, my turn, okay? So, divisional round. We got the Texans here against the Chiefs. Oh, man, I think it probably has to be Chiefs on this one because the Texans are made it pretty far this year, but I don't think they're going to make it further than this. And then I'll say the Bengals versus the Bills here probably will end up. That's a bit tougher though. The Bengals have had experience, and they haven't changed things up like that much, have they?
No.
Like for a while now. I'll come back to that. Because I think this other one's pretty obvious. It's going to be the Packers. So I won't even think about that one. And then I think the Lions probably hit their ceiling here, maybe. I don't know, though. How are the Eagles last year again?
That was the last year when they kind of fell apart. They were the best team, then they fell apart near the end. But
they weren't. Yeah, were they even in the?
They were in the playoffs.
They were in the playoffs, but like not that crazy. Yeah, okay.
They were the 4th seed, or no, they were the 5th seed.
They were 5th. Okay.
They lost to the Bucks.
Okay, well, they're back all the way up here again, though. I just don't know. Say the Lions.
You saying the Lions?
This also gives us an insanely good matchup later too. So I'm gonna get into that. For this one though, I don't know, dude. It might be the Bills. I feel like have been a little disappointing the past 2 years, haven't they?
Yeah.
Like they weren't as good. And
the
Bengals.
This is their year.
Maybe this is their year. But also, the Bengals been struggling for a while, and then this has just been a better year for them. So maybe it's their year. Yeah, let me look at the teams one more time. I haven't had to come back here in a while. I've mostly committed to memory at this point, but just want to see who everybody has here. So that's the Bengals. Oh wait, I lost my spot there. Okay, yeah, it's Bengals. And then the Bills. Let's see how the Bills look. Yeah, it's like... Yeah, I'll say Bills. It has been a little while since the Bengals have been here too, to be fair.
Right.
So, yeah.
So now we have Chiefs versus Bengals. If any team could beat the Chiefs in the divisional round, which hasn't been done with Patrick Mahomes, he's made it to the conference championship every year, which is ridiculous. And he's made the Super Bowl every year, except for besides his first few years, ever since he made his first Super Bowl, he hasn't only made it not once, which is ridiculous. I still think the Chiefs will come through in the end, but that's going to be a really good match if that does happen. Jets versus Ravens. I really want to say the Jets win because I really do want to see Aaron Rodgers win another Super Bowl because then he'd be a consensus top 5 quarterback all time if he won another Super Bowl. But I just don't know if I see it happening versus a team like the Ravens who have a really great defense and a really overpowered offense. So I'm leaning Baltimore for that one.
Fair enough, yeah.
I was talking about this earlier. 49ers versus Packers rematch of last year's divisional. It was really close as it was. And I feel like the 49ers, if anything, have regressed a little bit. And I feel like the Packers have gotten better. So I'm actually going with Green Bay. And Eagles versus Lions. This is really tough. I just feel like the Lions might want it a little more, though.
Yeah, so you had the same thought as me then, right? Yeah, that's good. Yeah. The big difference, right, is that I picked the Bills, you picked the Bengals.
Yeah.
But our NFC matchup is exactly the same. So how we do our AFC ones differently and then wait, okay? Because I want to discuss that with you. I really don't know for that. I don't think I can pick this. I really just have a hard time picking against the Chiefs nowadays. Because I think last year proved that they really just can get a win if they have to. It's just no matter literally whatever happens before it, they just find a way. And also the Bills have been faltering just a little bit, I'll be honest. The past couple of years. Since they're just so close to greatness though, they're so close. So I just don't know. I think that it'll probably be... I'm leaning more towards the Chiefs because, again, just knowing them and, literally how last year went as well. How things have always just kind of gone. They've always, for the most part, always gotten it their way. And I think that literally no matter what happens, it's just they will find a way. So I'm going to have to pick Chiefs, I think, here. Because I've been wrong both times I picked the Bills, and for good reason. I don't think this is a dumb pick. They literally just get it every time. Usually, it's on the road to the Super Bowl, they rarely miss it. And there's a reason why they're in the AFC Championship so many times every year. They've been in the AFC, sorry, worded that horribly. I meant to say, there's a reason why they're in the AFC Championship literally 6 years in a row at this point. Because they always find a way to get those first couple of games at least done. So I think they'll make it to the Super Bowl again.
So I have Ravens versus Chiefs in mind. And so the Ravens are at home. This is a rematch of last year, pretty much exactly 1 versus 3 seed. Ravens versus Chiefs. So if the Ravens want to win, they need a few things to happen for them. It definitely helps a lot that Derrick Henry is a whole nother threat, another rushing threat. And Lamar Jackson needs to learn how to step up in big games because he's just been terrible in big games. We've seen that multiple years. And I truly...
I see you're leading somewhere, right?
I truly do actually believe that the Ravens could get it done this year and make the Super Bowl just because for the Chiefs, I feel like they're coming off another championship win. Everyone's thinking they're going to do a three-peat. They're probably thinking they have three-peat in mind. And I feel like the Ravens are just going to get they're just going to get the better of them in the end. It's going to be a very close game. I think the Ravens have a better defense and offense on paper. I think Mahomes is a great quarterback, but I think he's going to fall short in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, I get that take. Again, it's like, man, like it just, I guess the reason I didn't like have much faith in the Ravens is because I feel like since that insane season they had, where it felt like everything went right for them, it hasn't really come back as much. So I just was like, I've always kind of put them a little lower, but I see how you've done yours, and I do understand like why you would pick them for that, because at the end of the day, yeah, like they are pretty like the Ravens are like, if everything kind of lined up well for them, like the big thing is they just stopped getting fucking injured.
Yeah.
Then really, it could definitely go away for them. Anyway, NFC. We have the same. Amazed with the same exact matchup.
This is like the NFC 5-3.
Yeah, mine's 6-2, even more last time.
This is probably going to be the NFC Championship of the decade. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, they're really push this one, to say the least, considering where the Lions were just a couple of years ago. But honestly, it's not dumb because they really almost did it last year. You know,
really almost.
The Packers almost made it to this point last year,
the Lions.
and the Lions did make it, and just didn't make it forward. But oh man, dude, like
you just say
it's kind of yeah. I'll talk first. Like it's like. I'm weighing in the gear because it's like on one hand you have the Packers who show just a ridiculous amount of
potential
of just momentum more than anything. They can get momentum really fast, and they're kind of like chemistry very early on, which a lot of teams don't. But the Lions just find a way to get wins, kind of like the Chiefs do. That's what we've also learned. And their big weaknesses, I think, generally have been like third quarter. As what cost them the game last year, and kind of a lack of trust in the kicking process as well. But again, they also are just there for a similar reason that the Packers are, is that they just push very, very hard. I think more, especially in the playoffs. I think they push very hard in the playoffs more. But I'm really looking at this, and I'm just like, yeah, it can be either. I know that it could be either of them. But I'm gonna say. I'm slower distant than you are. I know that, but I'm pointing out. Okay.
I don't care who you pick.
I know you don't. I don't care. I don't care about you. What you think? I'm just like I just want to keep this video moving, dude. That's what it is. I'm standing here. Oh man. Fuck it, the Lions, dude. I see them similar to the Chiefs, just a little bit more. But again, it could really, maybe like the momentum will be different and it will be more in the Packers favor this year. I don't know. I am really basing a lot of this off of like how last year shook out. Because Packers could easily get the momentum that the Lions did and push forward the same way the Lions did last year. Like it literally, it's such a tough decision. So I'm literally just going with what happened last year, and what happened last year is that Lions made further than you guys did.
Yeah.
So I'm putting the Lions ahead.
So this is a case of the younger brother, the Lions, who always got beat on by their older brother, the Packers, and then the Lions moved away for a few years, and then they grew up, came back, giant. Giant.
In the form of Dan Campbell.
Yeah, they came. Yeah, he came back basically in Dan Campbell form, muscular. They came back ready, and. To go back up against his old big brother, the one he's scared of most, and I think it ends the exact same way. I think the Packers win. I just think that the Packers, if they can get to the conference championship with that young of a core, there's going to be so much momentum and stuff going for them that, and also if they don't win. If they don't make the Super Bowl or even make they don't go deep in the playoffs this year, that's fine because they still have their rookies for next year, and then they'll have more, and they'll sign a few. But they're pretty loaded for the next 5 years.
Before we move on from this, I just want to say kind of what the difference between the Lions and the Packers is for me. I think the Packers, when they give momentum, are the Packers have a very, very strong momentum when they get it. Is that they feel like impossible to stop when it happens. The problem is, and again, we know how it is, too, when they get to opposite that, when they get the funk, it's also hard for them to get out of that as well. But I do think that as they get more strengthened, which will probably happen this year, that funk will happen probably way less, or not at all. The Lions, though, they're similar to the Chiefs, because literally what will happen is they'll find any literal way to get a win is what it is for me. And so I think that's just going to push ahead of the momentum a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
the Ravens had all the momentum last year versus the Chiefs, but the Chiefs ended up beating them by a fair margin because the Chiefs are always also.
Yeah. So you understand my reasoning, right? That's like why I picked what I did. Like
the reason why I didn't really say it, I was kind of hesitant to not pick the Chiefs because I'm not sure where I saw this, but like I've been looking at it for the past few playoffs. You pretty much always pick the best quarterback to win the championship, or at least make it very close to the championship, or make the championship, which is kind of scary that I didn't pick Mahomes. But if you look back a few years, it hasn't always been that way. So I'm banking on that to happen. But
so what's the matchup? Is it Ravens Packers?
Yep, and yours is Ravens.
No, it's way different. Mine's like completely different teams. Like I already know what I'm picking. So do you want to just do what we normally do and just click it and then just discuss it?
Yeah.
All right. I already know what I'm picking, and again, it's like probably really obvious, but I'm just gonna pick it anyways. Ready?
All right.
1, 2, 3. Chiefs.
Packers.
I don't think the Lions will beat the Chiefs. I just don't see it because again, the Chiefs. I think like I don't know. Like maybe it seems boring. It seems almost boring to pick that, but it's just like look at last year again. I keep bringing up last year. It's like you literally every week were picking against the Chiefs, and it just they didn't lose. Mahomes? Like every week we were doing that. We were like, they're not going to win against the Ravens. They're not going to win against. I don't even remember who they fucking played against. Well, here, while you talk, I'm going to find that because, again, we were always thinking they were going to lose last year, and it just didn't happen. Ravens yeah, let me find it here. 2024 schedule. How do I go to 2023? So yeah. Let's look at this. Let's look at the fucking playoffs here. San Fran. Yeah. So wait, what? No.
They play versus the Ravens in the conference championship.
Oh yeah, I'm dumb. It's fucking the wrong way. So like we were thinking like they were like a bit weak, right? So we were like, okay, the Miami may have a chance to beat them, but that one wasn't like super crazy. And then we're like, okay, Buffalo's got more momentum. They're definitely gonna beat them this time. And then it was very close, and then they didn't in the end. And then same with the Ravens. We were like, they've made it this far. They can't win again, especially because I think they had like a big injury or something too. So we were like, okay, the Ravens, they're gonna win this one time too, and they also just barely eked it out over them. Like it's like again, it's just hard to pick against the Chiefs when it's like literally that just keeps happening over and over and over again. It's like, so that's why I'm picking them over the Lions, personally. Now, would I like the Lions to win more? Obviously, I would, because that would be insanity, and just amazing just to see that. Because again, the Lions have never been very good that we've known really.
Yeah.
A lot of people have known. A lot of people have never seen the Lions good. So that would be preferable to see them win, but I just don't. I just think it'll be Chiefs. I think it'll still be Chiefs. So your turn.
All right, so I'm going with the Packers just because I think you can agree on this. I think if the Packers make the Super Bowl versus pretty much whoever they play, unless it's the Chiefs, I don't know if there's much stopping them if they can make it that far with that young and if they have that much of a fire under them. Yeah. I don't know if there's much stopping them. And the Ravens are very good. Don't get me wrong, but they've shown that in big games they can choke. And even if Lamar can beat Mahomes in the conference championship, there's such a difference between the Super Bowl and the conference championship. And I feel like Jordan Love, from what we've seen from him, it was his first year starting last year, and he looked super calm and composed in both his playoff games.
Something that no one wanted to admit, by the way. People were just like convinced he was scared, but he wasn't.
No. So
I wanted to believe that too, by the way. Just to set the record straight.
But no, he was composed.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And so yeah, I think that if the Packers make the Super Bowl, there's not too much stopping them. That's also like kind of a biased opinion, but not really because this is the first year. I mean, actually, I've had a lot of years where the Packers have been favored to win the Super Bowl, but like
with this core, it's the first time that you've been confident.
But like the Aaron Rodgers, like I just feel like there was just like. Even, like, before the playoffs started, like, there's something different about this year, I feel. Like, before each year would start, like, the Packers just lost too much in the playoffs, like, when they had, like, 2019 last year's with Aaron Rodgers.
Well, the wall was the conference championship, ultimately.
Yeah.
That was what
then they lost in the divisional one year. But, yeah, it's just... I just, like, even from the start of the playoffs, like, even if they win their first game, I just had this gut feeling that they wouldn't win. Like, I just had this gut feeling like this isn't the year. But this year, I actually have a feeling where they might be able to pull it off.
Yeah, that Cowboys game, Ryan, was just one of the most, like,
if
they can get that fucking momentum going the whole time, then it's hard to stop them. Again, I still just think that, like, the kind of, the weed, that like, the really much just, like, literally no matter what, like tough as nails type of thing that Dan Campbell does, and like what Andrew Reid is known to do with the team. I think that will still win out over maybe just pure momentum.
Yeah.
On my personally, but also it's hard not to like not at least consider Packers making it all the way when you think about how the games they've had and what they've been able to do when they just get things going and they're all in sync and everything.
Because once they go, they go. It's very hard to stop them when they're going, unless you're a team like the 49ers or
what will hurt them ultimately is that like the only thing that's really stopping them is like they have those funks that they had last year and also the year before where they lose quite a bit in a row and they just can't seem to figure out why.
Also,
and it's like, so if they can just stop doing that then and keep the again, it's hard to do that obviously, it's easier said than done, but if they can just lose those games, those types of games from their schedule, it'll be better, you know.
It's also important to note that the Packers versus the 49ers last year, they lost 24-21, but the Packers kicker missed like a 40-yard field goal that would have made it 24-17, and the Packers defense had been playing great. So would have the 49ers ever scored at that point? And even if they did, the Packers were doing so good that game, Jordan Love probably wouldn't have thrown into double coverage when he was under pressure to score.
Yes, sorry, Ram.
There you go.
Yeah, fucking so, that was we pulled up.
I feel like if the Packers just, well, also their kicking also cost them a lot of games last year. So if the Packers kicker Anders Carlson, I think he's gonna be the starter. It's also important to note that, kind of going off topic, his brother was a kicker for the Vikings. Remember when Daniel Carlson missed 5 field goals in that game?
So I was like, where's that like name from?
Yeah.
I was like,
Remember when he missed like 5 field goals versus the Packers?
Yes.
And the Vikings,
one of my first games I ever watched was that game.
The Vikings cut him after that, and now he's one of the best kickers in the league for the Raiders.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Yeah.
So I feel like that's what's going to happen for him. He's going to have a rough first year, but then he's just going to become a great kicker because he has such a great leg. Like he can kick from like 60 plus easy.
All right. Well, here's the bracket. I'm scrolling. It's like all the way down, right? You see the bracket here. It doesn't show the teams anymore, but
it does for me.
Okay.
It's just glitching.
Huh. Yeah, maybe it is. Well, yeah. Here's our final bracket, guys, and we'll show the draft again one more time before we end here.
Yeah. Now it'll show the full draft.
It's So we showed the first 18 already, but now the playoffs is going to be Buccaneers, Chargers, 49ers, Dolphins, Ravens, Cowboys, Falcons, Bengals, Eagles, Texans, Packers, Bills, Lions, and then Chiefs at 32nd.
Even if your bracket happened, I'd still be happy with the year for the Packers. I wouldn't like that they lost to the Lions, but...
I imagine... I think the bracket turned out okay. Even, like, I tried to keep the divisions, like, less just, like, matched up like I did last year because I just was, like, convinced that whenever someone won, there always had to be the other person had to come back and win. I didn't do that this time. It ended up kind of turning more into my 2022 bracket, which I don't know... You can decide for yourself if that's a good or a bad thing, but yeah, no, it was fun doing this like it always has been, guys. And we'll see you in the next video, or in the case of Ryan, he'll see you in 6 months, or no, 4 months for playoffs. Yeah, all right, bye.
Bye.